aliens are superhuman among us and control the human mind. This is the unbelievable statement made by a university professor. Let's remember that God has given us free will, which means that it's us that control our own human mind and our will. So if there's something else controlling our mind, obviously it's not of God. But there are many times when scientists ignore theological doctrines. But let's see what this professor claims. An uproar has erupted online with the recent claims of Temple University history professor Dr. David Jacobs, who talks about the existence of aliens. He has also repeatedly claimed in the past that aliens are walking the earth and allegedly preparing a total invasion, quote unquote. He also suggests that the Greys may have been created as a result of experiments on abducted people. According to what he says, aliens are not only walking among us, but are abducting people and using their power to control our minds, aiming for a mass takeover of Earth. And that's what the professor says. Dr. David Jacobs, who's specializing in ufology, has written several books on alien abduction. Speaking on extraordinary the revelations, the professor claims this. He says, we spread across the world and conquered as much as we can. We don't know if that's true of other beings or not, but it's certainly true of what humans have done. Yes, I believe aliens do the same, he says. Dr. Jacobs said that he has not spoken to many abduction survivors. According to their testimonies, the aliens revealed to them that they have a job to do in the future. Many of the so-called abductees referred to an alien ability to control the human mind. They are superhuman, he claims. As for what the aliens will look like, the professor mentions the claims of alien abductees whom they encountered in their UFOs. He said, according to their descriptions, they look like humans coming down from UFOs and trying to learn what it's like to walk among us, to be human. Only these are superhuman, they can control the human mind. I don't know what will happen after that. I fear the worst. I believe these UFO beings have done this in the past, he said. Gray aliens evolved from abductees. Prior to Jacob's last statements, and while being interviewed on the Richard Dolan show, he explained how the gray aliens came to be. He assumed that they could be created as a result of tests on abducted people. He says when people say they've been abducted, they're almost always talking about gray aliens, and he explains at the Richard Dolan show, he says, because we were abducted, they used as part of us to create gray aliens. The reason I say the gray aliens might have human DNA is because they have two huge black eyes. They have two holes on the side of their heads for ears. This is important. You cannot exist normally without being able to hear around you. Jacobs also acknowledged that it's common for gray aliens to have two nostrils, like humans, but he noticed the anomaly in which grays had a slit instead of a mouth. He says the question is, why do they have a slit instead of a mouth? They're not breathing. There is no sign that they're breathing. Sometimes they came very close to people, sometimes even touching their foreheads. I asked people, did you feel his breath on your face? The answer is always no. They don't have lungs. They have very thin bodies. The lungs don't expand or contract back and forth. They don't speak, but only telepathically. They don't eat like we do, so why is there a mouth cut there? Thing is, those gray aliens probably had human DNA in them, which allowed the gray aliens to grow. I don't know, but that's my best guess, and it all comes down to a mouth slit that they should not have, he says. More and more scientists are convinced of the extraterrestrial presence on our planet. For example, in 2019, Dr. Yong Hai Chi, who is a Korean professor at the Oxford Oriental Institute, claims that aliens are breeding with humans to produce a subspecies that could save the planet from climate change. Dr. Chi openly believes that there is also a strong correlation between alien abductions and Earth's climate change. At a conference in 2012, Dr. Chi said that not only scientists and theologians, but also non-human species seem to be very concerned about the human species' ability to survive. An Oxford University professor told Oxford student newspaper that extraterrestrial aliens are near us, but we cannot see them. One could continue to list a large number of scientists who are convinced that there are aliens on our planet, but most importantly, all this indicates that such a possibility is officially beginning to be considered. So, please tell me what you think about this. This is by Soul Ask, and it's on Collective Spark. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box.